Hello everyone, welcome to this basic tutorial for C# making a Mac app. So we're going to start straight away. Here we have a Coca app and that's what we're going to be using, so we can start that. And we're going to call this practice app or something like that, and then create it. So you'll see here we have the storyboard designer. We want to open that. And then while that loads up, we can look in here. We have viewcontroller.cs, which is where we're going to put all our code. And then we have viewcontroller delegate CS, which is going to show us the objects we have in our storyboard, essentially. Okay, so now we've got this set up, we can start to use it and start to make our actual the design storyboard of our app. So what we're going to have for this is we're going to have a label to start off with. You can put that in there. Then we're going to have a button and another button. There. Ooh. Okay. So the label isn't going to have any text in it, but we need to center it first, and then we can take out this text. The button, first button is going to be just called push. Second button is going to be called reset. Let's move these down a bit. Okay, so now we have our push button, our reset button, and that's working all well. Now we can go to editor at the top, assistant, and then here we have our XCode assistant where we can start to link this to our code in C#. So first what we want to do is we want to go here, view controller M, change it to view controller H. And now what we can do is start adding this in. So let's just make a line there. We can use control and drag in our label. Then we can call it info label and connect that. Now we can drag in our button just below that, below the interface. And then we're going to have this as an action push button, let's call it. And let's change this to an S button. And then the same with this. We're going to drag this down, reset button, and then we're going to call it an action as well, and an S button. All right, so this is working now. Now we should be able to go into our delegate, and we can see we have push button and reset button. So that seems to be working. Now we can go into our view controller and start working on this. So if we go, we have to be in our namespace and in the view controller class. Then we can start using this. So what we're going to do on a button click is we're just going to log to the console to start off with. So what we want to do is partial void push button. And then let's say here, console.writeLine. And then we're going to say button pushed. And then we're also going to do the same for the reset button, but we're going to say button or reset or something. Reset. There we go. And now we can try run this. So now we have our little app here. If we push the button, we get in the console button pushed. If we click reset, we get reset. So this is working. We can close that. And now what we can do is actually work on the label. So what we should be able to do here is info label. dot string value is equal to, let's say, button pushed, the same. Here we have an error. Info label does not exist in the current context. That might be because we've done it slightly wrong here. So if we go into Xcode, we want to change this slightly. So we're going to say instead, just NS text field. And then we're going to, okay. We've got that here. And then what we can do is say at property, assign, and then IB outlet, NS text field. And then we do star info label. And that's one way to do it. Now, if we see in C#, it should, it's working now. We don't have an error, and we forgot a semicolon there. So now if we try this, we should get that we get the console.log, and we also get the actual display on the app. So here we got the console.log again, and we've got button. Again, so we've got this working now. So what we can now do is when we say reset, we're just gonna get rid of this. So let's just say button pushed instead. And then we're gonna say on the reset, what we wanna say is info label dot string value equals button pushed. No, we actually want it to set it to nothing, sorry. And now if we try this, we should see whenever the button's pushed here, it says button pushed. When it's reset it disappears. So that is working well. Now what we can also do, if we don't want to keep writing, for example, if we had something else in our app, loads of other sort of push buttons for text, we might want to change this slightly. So we can make a function for the setting the text. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a private function, private void, because we're not returning anything. Then it's going to be called set text. And then what we need to pass in is our data. So it's going to be a string, and then we just call it text. Okay. So here what we can do is say info label dot string value equals text. We can get rid of these console.write lines now. And then here, instead of saying this, we can just take this part, wrap it in brackets, and then we're going to say set text. Set text button pushed. And here we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to set the text to nothing. So let's try that. And we can see that's working as well. And we can reset it as well. So that's a very basic overview to starting C#, making a C# app with macOS. Hope it was helpful. In the future, I'm going to do more videos similar to this. So look out for them.